Behold the World Chalice! Okay, don't ever tell Sir Memphis I have. It's not the actual Holy Grail, but it looks like it. He can't tell the difference. It might be. Who knows? YouTube, it's your boy, the Memphis XL, alright, welcoming you back to the 100 Days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where every day for 100 days, we're dueling with a different deck every single day. Today is day numero 8, and we're taking a look at a World Chalice deck. It's all about Link summoning in this deck, summoning out the Chosen, summoning out, what was it, Beckon to the World Chalice, got the Crown of the World Chalice. We got the whole World Chalice archetype, with just a hint of the World's Legacy, and a whole bunch of Drac Connect and a little bit of the Agent Creation. It's a very spam out monster sort of deck. We're just trying to get as many things as possible. Link summoning into big things. It's very straightforward at the end of the day. I'm not trying to like omni-negate my opponent out of existence or anything, but we do have some spicy little tech cards. Decided to go with some of the Primites today, just for that little bit of extra spice. So we got ourselves our World Chalice deck. We're going to be going into yugioh Pro, showing off this deck, showing off the wombos and the combos, the what do's and the what not do's, and have ourselves a good old time. A big old shout out to Mr. Levi's Stories, who wanted us to take a look at the World Chalice and see what these boys can still do in the modern era. They can still do their thing. You know, I think we can still do that thing. So we're going to go into it. If you want the whole deck list, as always, it's at the end. And of course, if you have any ideas for the 100 Days Yu-Gi-Oh, leave them down in the comments. I read them all the time. I love the comments. The comments are great. It takes me a little bit to get to them sometimes, but I love to read them nonetheless. So enough talking. Let's head on to the action. Let's show off what this baby can do, World Chalice style. Alrighty, everybody, our first opponent, another day and another card game. We like to go first with this deck as much as we can. We can still go second. It really just depends on like what we're up against. Modern Yu-Gi-Oh being what it is. Let's see what we have. Certainly a pretty nasty opening board. I think this will work. We got our Agent of Creation of a Venus. Very much a powerhouse card. Well, part of that old school card tech that like it's got that non-once per turn power to it. I just pay 500 life points. I can summon out shiny balls from my hand or deck. It's very useful for building a board. We also happen to just have Exodius. Well, that'll come later. He's a very useful card in this deck, but he will come later. We'll use our Agent of Creation. We only need the 1 life point. We don't need to be worrying about how many life points we got. We just need to have as many balls on the board as humanly possible. So we're just going to go ahead and do this. We're just summoning out all the shiny balls in the world. And we're going to start with our first link, which will be Imduk. Good old Imduk, because he gives us an additional normal summon. So we're going to do that. We're going to go ahead and tribute off a shiny ball, summoning out the World Legacy's World Chalice. This is our mainstay monster, because when he's normal summoned, and I link him off, he's going to activate his effects. So let's see here. What do I need next? I kind of want to get Lib on the board, but I don't have like all my stuff. I guess if we go for another Imduk. Yeah. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go for Urim, the World Chalice's Blade Master. World Legacy Chalice is going to activate, of course. We'll get ourselves our Lee, and we'll get any of the Chosen. It doesn't really matter who at this point. Although having the normie does let me go for my Synchro. So all's good so far. This is like just bread and butter what this deck is about. Just get lots of monsters going, get lots of link materials and things. The next, what we're going to do is go for our next monster, which is going to be Lib, the World Legacy's Justiciar. Because when this gets summoned out, we're going to search out more cards. You know, this is what we do. We're just summoning out monsters. We're getting more things. Let's see. What do I want in this situation? I will eventually have a co-linked monster. So we're going to get the World Legacy's Sorrow. Just so we have a little bit of interrupt on my opponent when it's finally their turn. That sort of deal. And we're going to go ahead for our next link. I could also go for Sheng Ying at this point, because this is a tuner. But that's not really the point of the deck. So instead, we're going to do this. Going to link off 2 more, and we're going to summon out Lib. Now, since just this here hit the graveyard, she will bring out another monster. And that's going to be very useful here. Just for building up more bodies on the board. So we're going to summon out just another World Chalice. Because this does have another effect. That if a monster special summon from the extra deck, I can tribute this monster, send it to the grave. Just a little bit of interrupt on my opponent. And I just realized my opponent has the same sleeves that I do today. Why is that? Why do they have the same sleeves I do? They're supposed to have the enemy sleeves. I don't know, but we're going to go ahead and shuffle back all our monsters. Good old Exodius, the ultimate Forbidden Lord. Very powerful dude. Because he can just shuffle everything back and give me more uses out of my shiny balls. Like I said, we don't need to have life points. Life points are an optional thing. Alright, so... now what I need to do is... Let me think about it. Yeah, use up a shiny ball, go for our Imduk again. Because I need to have a World Chalice in the graveyard in order to go for my Blade Master. It's kind of important. Let's see. I need another Link monster. I could still use Avram, but I need a World Chalice monster to do that. But okay, I can still make this work, I think. Won't be perfect, or should I? This is the trouble with this deck sometimes. There's just so many things you can do. Sometimes it's hard to decide what to do. But we'll go ahead for a little knight. Just have a co-link monster on the board. And let's see. I could special summon my guard dragon, but I actually want to keep that in my hand. I'd rather keep him in the hand where he's nice and safe. So let's go ahead and shine up one more shiny ball. I do have some of the primate cards in here, like their counter trap, so leaving a shiny ball on the board is actually not the worst thing in the world to do. But that will do for now. For now, it shall do. You know, nice and simple. We got a couple monsters on the board. We got a little bit of interrupt on my opponent, and that's all I really need to do. Oh, that just kind of stinks. Let's see. Well, waste not, want not, as they say. I guess I'll just have to activate the Sorrow. I mean, I didn't want to do that, but what else to do? Alright. Heretics! Okay, Heretics are really cool. I played that deck in the past, and there's some really neat things you can do with Heretics. Going for, like, Bishbalkin and the things like that. Was it Bishbalkin? I think it was Bishbalkin. It was somebody. I remember that. Alright, so Heretic Seal of Ep8. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Let's see here. Not yet. Not yet. So the Heretic Dragons are going to do their thing. It's totally fine. I mean, he's going to summon... What? Tail Dragon, baby. What? Tail Dragon, indeed. And okay, he is smart enough to at least attack into us. He was smart enough to attack the Chalice. Yeah, I was planning to use that to, you know, stop his Exceed summon, but that's okay. He'll get the Exceed out, he'll get to use its effect, but at the very least, you know, the duel ain't anywhere close to being over. You know? It's only just begun. Summon a dragon. This card can attack the turn. You activate this effect. Let me think. I don't think that really interrupts my opponent much, but it's like, you know, this is just kind of what you do. You know, get rid of this dude. And yeah, I could negate my own SP Little Knight there, but I really don't want to need to do that. So, I'm assuming my opponent's going to go for Red Eyes Darkness Dragon or Metal Dragon that'll go into that at some point. Alright. I've seen this song and dance before. Red Eyes Darkness, Metal Dragon, and he's going to... Maybe Maxi Metal Morph? I would say that there's a high probability that I've seen this combo before. I play this game too much. I've seen too many combos. It's like, I'm looking at my opponent. I want to see them as my opponent, but a lot of times I just see them as the combos. So yeah, he's going to use Darkness Dragon to bring back, yeah, that dude. And he's going to go into the Heretic Spheres of the Heavenly Spheres. And that'll let him get the Maxi Metal Morph trap. Indeed. Or if it's, okay, let's see, going for like Red Eyes Fusion, which would be worse. Yeah, Full Metal Dragon. And then he's going to use that to get the trap. Okay. Alright. That is certainly annoying, but not the worst in the world, because he still needs to have a monster. I think. I don't think he can tribute the seal for that. And I think it has to be like level... What was the requirement on this Full Metal Dragon? Level 5 or higher dragon you control. So we can't do that, but he can do other stuff. Alright, let me think about this. I can just get a World Legacy card from my deck to my hand. So let's go ahead and use the World Chalice's effect. Might as well banish it from the grave. The cup has done its job. It is empty now. Therefore, I'm going to have to banish it to get more cards. Let's see. What can we get? I could get the World's Crown. I could get the Guard Dragon. I could get the Heart, which protects me from battle destruction. A lot of different options. I'm going to go for the Crown. I'm feeling the Crown would do us good. All right. And as we've done before, we shall do again. Let's go for Venus. Go ahead and get ourselves some more normie balls on the board. And let's see. What can we go into next? There's just so many things we can go into. I just can't go into like my big bosses at the moment, because Heretic Seal is just going to stop that. And I realize now what my opponent's probably going to do, if I had to bet my bottom dollar, is that he's going to use this to bring out a level 5 monster. 100%. 100%. So I just got to be careful. That's all. But then again, SP Little Knight, unless he bounces Little Knight, he's probably going to go after Little Knight, now that I think about it. Let's see. Yes. Alright, let's use our shiny balls. We're gonna summon out Leeb, the World of the Keys Blade Master. Very cool dude, because if he's sent to the grave as link material, I can just spin a card on the field back into the deck. Let's see. I really wish I could hit his face down, but unfortunately I cannot do this. And now you're gonna go ahead and summon out the next dude, which would be Magnum Hut. Of course. Alright. I'm gonna hold off just yet. I'm gonna wait for him to activate the Max Metamorph. There we go. Oh, but I can't interrupt that part. That's rough. That's rough, buddy. That's rough. Alright. This is where things are gonna get just a little tricky. Just a little bit, because this is an Omni Negation. But if I could interrupt the Omni Negation, that's not a problem. Let's go ahead and special summon the World's Crown, just to have it on the board. And then, let me think. I could just summon back Leeb. That is an option. I'm just trying to think of which way I want to go about this. Let's activate the World Legacy Succession. Monster Reborn in the form of Lynx. And let us once again go for shiny balls. The shiniest balls in the world. He's got one negate that we're aware of. What the rest of the negates are, we don't know. But that's okay. I can also go for like Ningirsu, which does send a card on each player's field to the grave. That requires all links to summon, though, so it's not... I don't think that's the ideal here. I could go for Access Code Talker. I wouldn't be able to do much about that, and I have a bunch of attributes. Oh, man, I am just spoiled for choices at the moment. I really, really am. Let me think about this. Okay, here's what we're doing. We're going to go ahead and use these two. We're going to make Access Code Talker. Because my opponent can't do Bubkiss about it. Let me double check. What is activating here? One of these guys. This card's on the summon a World Chalice from the hand. Summon a World Chalice from the hand. So I don't need to do any of that. I could. I just don't need to. Again, I can use Guard Dragon from my hand or my board, but I'd rather just have him sit pretty. So let's go ahead and banish a Wind Dude from the grave. Again, my opponent can't do anything about this. Can't be destroyed by spell or monster effect, so just pop Maxi Metamorph. Let's see. And then we're just gonna keep banishing stuff. So we'll banish water. That way I can pop the dragon. Again, my opponent can't interrupt this in any way, which is like the best thing. Sorry to say that my World Chalices are being used as like fodder here, but sometimes that's what you're gonna do. Now we're gonna go ahead and use our Guard Dragon of the 100 Ep8. A very cool dude. We're gonna go ahead and summon forth another monster. Where is Lieb? I'm thinking go for Lieb here. We're gonna use his effect because we happen to have World Legacies in the graveyard. I can use his effect. I can set up World Legacy's Heart. Give myself a little bit of protection again and some recoverability. And let's go ahead battle phase before I run out of time, because I don't want to run out of time. And is that going to be game? That might be game. It's gonna, oh, that's game. I was prepared to go into Avramax, but there you go. That's what this deck wants to do. Just a lot of special summoning, a lot of link summoning, and if my bloody mouse will work, I can hit the attack button. But that's what we want to see happen in this deck a lot. You know, we do like to sit on the World Chalice as long as possible because they're like the whole idea of this deck. But when we need to link off, things like Access Code Talker can help get us out of a tricky situation. And then there's also Avramax, who's just a beast. So, good for first duel. That shows you precisely what we want to see happen. You know, lots of special summoning, lots of going into links, not a lot of negate, just a little bit of negation, just a little bit of negate, a little bit of interrupt, but nothing too, you know, oppressive. Because we're trying to save the world here. So let's go for duel number 2. Show them more what this deck can do. Go for some of the other extra deck goodies. And just see what other opponents we could have. Alrighty, second opponent. Let's go and do it again. Alright, we'll let our opponent pick. That's fine. I could do either or. This is a very Primite hand. This is a Primite hand. You know, I was thinking of what I wanted to do with this deck to make it different. It's one of those things. Like, I want new stuff in the 100 days, but I also want to just keep things simple. So basically, I was looking at the World Chalices. I'm like, okay, they play a lot of normie monsters. Let's go with the Primites. They're all about supporting normie monsters. And what am my opponent up to? Ashened. Okay. I was actually considering playing Ashened in this 100 days at some point. Depends on how it goes, but you know how it goes. In this particular situation, does it really matter who I go for? Because I have Dragonlink too. I don't think it really matters. Let's get Beck into the World Chalice just because he's done nothing. So we'll summon out to this dude. Good old Beck into the World Chalice. Best monster in combination with Primordial Tremors, so it's something. And we're going to summon out Dragonlink. This is a very useful monster in this deck, especially since the Justicia is legal now. You know, it just lets me summon out a normie monster. Oh, well, that kind of blows. That's not necessarily good. That's not necessarily a good thing. Can't use Transmodify at the moment. Let me think about this. Let me think about that. That's a difficult one. I think I might... I think I'm just gonna end my turn. My opponent did nothing, so I assume they've bricked to some degree. Ashen do have some nice engine to them, but I have a feeling that they have just bricked really hard, although they have the fusion spell in the graveyard, so that's not necessarily a good thing. Not necessarily, but I do still have my Primite Imperial Dragon. I can just blanket negate my opponent's monster effects when he gets summoned out. Banish all opponent control same type of attribute as a monster in the grave. Unfortunately, these guys are all dark, so I don't have a normal dark monster. Let's see, Vitos, the Dragon of Imperial Annihilation. Fusions have destroyed all spell traps and controls. I don't have any of those. I got none of those things. But I can't be destroyed battle right at the moment, thanks to my Primite Roar. Alright. This is unfortunate. The only unfortunate thing is that I can't, like, destroy Vitos really easy. That would have been... Wait, what type are you? You're a Pyro. I don't have Darks or Pyros in this deck. It's not really how it works. Alright. Having said that, I'm going to have to do some snarky things to get around all this. So let's start off with the Agent of Creation, Venus. Our girl. You're going to be getting us some of them shiny balls, if you didn't know. Alright, so get one shiny ball. And I could transmodify into another Agent of Creation, but I don't think that's going to be the thing that saves me here. Low-key thinking... Then in face of Ashen card, to destroy that card. Let's see. Okay, so he has Interruption. I'm still thinking I might have to go for Access Code Talker again. I did not intend him to be the boss, but He's kind of being the boss at the moment. So let's go for Linky Stinky Spider. Just to save myself some life points. Just to save myself a life point or two. And also this gets another link in the graveyard, so that's good. We'll go ahead and... I need to go into someone who is not Linky Stinky. Different types, different attributes. I'm thinking... I want to leave a ball on the board, though. That's the one thing. Just for that one little thing I can do with the Primites, I would like to leave a ball on the board. That's kind of my one thing I want to keep in mind. So that's what we're going to do. You know, we'll go for Masquerena. We'll do our access code again, because, well, I really want to go for other dudes. This is just, like, the best thing to do right now, just because of this, like, just because of how Vados works. Okay, well, I can't beat you with card effects, so I still punch you in the face. Really, really hard. I don't see you negating that, Vados. Let's see you negate battle damage. Yeah, that's right. Go back to Arc 5. There we go. Attack with shiny balls. Nothing's more degrading than smacking your opponent with shiny balls. Except maybe smacking them with a Karibo, but we don't have him at the moment. Alright, we'll set our Primite Roar just in case. And we'll end our turn. We're in a really good spot, I would say. If I remember right, the Ashened archetype. Let's see. Royal Firestorm Squadron. Okay. I'm going to activate Primite Roar's effect. Basically, because I have a normal monster in the grave, and my opponent normal summons something that's weaker than that monster, I can just, like, banish this dude. I just banish my opponent's monster. This stop this whole thing. But one less body on his board is good. That's a good thing. Let's see. Obsidian from the deck in the zone. Opponent controls a card in their zone. Add a pirate. Oh, yeah, this is the whole point of their deck, is to give me the field spell, and they get the big dragon guy. Not him, the other dragon guy. That's the king. We're not talking about the king, we're talking about the other dude. Alright. King of the Ashen City. Once per turn, during the main phase, summon an Ashen from the hand, or from control the monster. That's big, you can do stuff there too. I'm gonna go ahead and use Primite Imperial Dragon. I'm gonna tribute summon this dude on my opponent's turn with my shiny ball. Do you have anything to respond to that? You do have, like, effect failure. Maybe he's got, like, other hand traps. Normal summon. This guy. Oh, no, I missed the timing. Oh, no. Well, this will still negate his stuff. Unless he has that quick effect, doesn't he? But that's okay. He's not going to do that. So, yeah, the hero won't do anything. The king won't do anything. He can't even destroy Accessco Talk with effects. That's good. Oh, okay. Summon this card to your opponent's field, destroy that card, add to your hand, or set the action. Yeah, this is where he gets the trap, so we can take this back. Let's see, and that's like so the whole main strategy of his deck is trying to use this guy, the original Vados. This card sent to the opponent's field, to the graveyard, destroy all monsters on the field. Yes. Indeed, you do have that power. Alright. To the targeted card, opponent controls, return the... bouncing! Gross. Access code talker! You were the one hope. Alright, well that's a little annoying. So I'm gonna have to link this off or something. That's kind of my one saving grace, and I have Venus, but this is the worst time for Venus right now. Not a good time for Venus to do things. Not the best of times, Venus. Alright, good. My opponent did that. Exactly what we were hoping to do. So let's go ahead and bash a couple of cards just to keep SP Little Knight on the board. Let's see where this goes. I mean, I still have my Primite Roar, but it ain't much. But we'll give it a shot. We'll go ahead and use Tremors. I need Chosen of the World Chalice, because he's the only other one I play one of each. Oh. Oh, why don't you? Alright. Well, Agent of Creation Venus. Do your thing. Smack him. Smack him hard. Alright, this is a bit of a tricky situation. My opponent's getting the better hand of me. I'll set... I'm gonna just end my turn there and see where this goes. It's a bit of a touch and go situation we have here. I have an SP Little Knight, which is good, but my opponent's just gonna run the darn thing over, so I could really use Exodius right now. That would be like my saving grace right now is Exodius. Let's see. This is just gonna get him, yeah, the field spell again, and he's gonna get that big old dragon back. And he's gonna keep giving me this gosh dang dragon. Unfortunately, with SP gone, I can't, like, link this off easy again. Also, he's doing... Oh, he's fusion summoning, too. Wait a minute. Oh. He's just activating it. Never mind. I thought he was going to fuse with it, like, right now. But now he's got the trap that he can steal my dude. To make all face-up monsters lose attack, equal that monster's original attack. Yep. Yeah, this might be it. Ugh. Man, that one bounce of my access code really hurt. That's one of the situations where Avramax probably might have been better, but because my opponent had that negate, it wasn't going to be viable then. But I really would have liked it better if Avramax was about. He's just better in that situation in general. So, unfortunately, it looks like we've lost this one. Not for any lack of trying on our part. It's just my opponent had, like... a lot better of a hand than I gave him credit for. Also, this thing's like massively huge. Alright, well, we take a loss, but that's okay. We have time for one more duel today. So, let's pick ourselves back up. Continue to show off what the World Chalice can do. You know, we're having some good back and forth, and I appreciate that, but I want to win, too. So, one more duel. Let's go for the gold. Alrighty, our third opponent. A fighting third. Let's go all in, and let's hit our opponent really hard. Alright, so what are we going to be? Are we going to go first, second, third? We'll see. All I need is a combo. Alright, it's an interesting hand. Certainly an interesting one. I mean, I have Dragonlink, I have Lee, I've got the Chalice, I got Exodius, I have my counter trap, which would have been really good going first. We'll see. We shall see indeed where this is going to go. Okay, the small world can mean a lot. This is a very convoluted card. But basically, you just reveal a monster, banish another monster that matches one of these different criteria, search out another one that matches one of them criteria. It's very tricky to use, but it can search like a lot of different things. It can search like any monster. Alright. He's just thinking really hard as to what, I mean, understandable. You need to practice playing this card a lot before you can really use it. That's why I don't use the small world engine that often. Just because it's very convoluted. And it takes, you know, it's easy to mess it up. Alright, what are we up against? Toy Box. As well as this is the Luna deck, which we are playing in a couple days. Let's see. I know it's before Highlander week. I want to say it's day 14 or so. Something like that. Toy box. The box of toys for all the good little girls and boys. It's toy box deck. Okay. That can mean a lot of different things, because toy box is really good with, like, the White Woods cards are very good with that. It has its own whole thing where if I attack, he can, what was it, get rid of one of the face downs to destroy my monsters. So there's a lot of things that the toys can do. Just depends on where this guy is going with it. Okay. Alright, not too shabby. All I'm seeing right now is battle interruption, so that's a good thing. Alright. Let's give her a shot. Dragonlink. Take flight, my weird dragon-looking thing. Bring me a tuner, please. Alright, very good. Alright, so at the very least, we can get started with combos and wombos. So, let's go ahead, start off by summoning out Lip. As we do here, World Chalices, old as they are, they can still do their thing, you know? The combination is still a little, you know, it's, how to say, there's a lot of different engines to get to the same thing. You know, World Chalices, they're not going to be, like, making 20 negates turn one, but they can certainly hold their own. Like when I can hold this bloody hat over my bald head. Alright, what do we got? Yes, something. The question is what? But yeah, we'll get our success. I could get my Guard Dragon card, but I honestly prefer Succession. 9 times out of 10. Just because it's kind of better in that respect. So let's go ahead and make our grav controller. And go for our lib. Or I guess it's pronounced Ebe. I don't know why that L looks like a lowercase L. I don't know. It's weird. So let's get our fairy, making sure not to point to our troller. I've done that in testing, and it's not fun. It's not fun. You just want to make sure you're not pointing to that guy. That's definitely not what you want to do. As for us, I already have the chalice. So if he negates this, it's actually pretty good. I actually prefer him to negate Lee now. That way I don't have to worry about anything else. So we'll see in a minute where that's gonna go. Soja boy. This doesn't do anything else. No, it doesn't. It's only when it's sent from the face down zone. Alright. But yeah, we will get our guard dragon to protect our links and things. We'll go ahead and activate our succession. I'm just going to blatantly put this in the imperm column. Just to show my opponent that I don't care. Yeah, that's right. You don't have imperm. Don't you pretend like you have imperm. Alright. As we do, good old Imduck. As we do, good old Cup. And then we just kind of go from there. We're going to go ahead into Lib. Summon her out there. When everyone will activate. Because I do have a world, well... Do I want to summon out... I guess I could summon out my other fairy. Just to have, like, extra body on the board. It's a Link deck. You always want extra bodies on the board. Always. Uh-huh. I'm just trying to remember what other things the Fairy Tale Luna deck does. I don't really know the deck too well just yet. I know they're synchro-themed. That is, like, my understanding of the deck, is that they are synchro-themed. So we definitely want a monster here. We definitely want a monster, like, over here-ish. And we'll get the fairy over here. Very good. Alright. And now we're going to go ahead and go for Arm. We'll use Lib. We'll use Lee. Summon out the Blade Master. Lib will activate, because at this point, I'll just summon out Guard Dragon just in case I need an extra body. Because you never know. Like I said, I can use it from the field or the grave. Yep. Alright, let's use Arm's effect. We'll ditch our Lee. Bring back Lib. And I wish I had like a... The one thing is that he has that ability to destroy my monsters, and I don't have any protection for that at the moment. I do have Lib, though. I do have... Let's see. Monsters card points to it, destroy by card effect. Send this card to the grave instead. Which I could do. I'm just not sure I want to do it. I think the better option would just be to, like, go for the World Keys Blade Master here. Be like, watch how. Get myself more stuff. Get myself a spell trap of some variety would be good. I'm really... What was this guy trying to do? He's got something. I mean, we already know what these are. The tank and a soldier. What is the third card? What is the other option? I need somebody who is linked to do that. And I'm planning... they have to be co-linked, yes. Let me see. Where's my extra deck? Avramax, what are your link markers? Actually, that could work. Yeah. If I have very appropriately, if we turn Arm into Avramax, that could be very good. Let's see. Who's going to activate now? Okay. We're going to go ahead and ditch Shine Ball here. I would summon Shine Ball if I had the option to. But at the moment, I don't. And we're going to finally link summon into Avramax. Because that way, I can use both of these effects. Summoning World Chalice from my hand. No. I want to use Lib's effect. No. We're good. This way, I can just get rid of Toy Box, and that'll kind of interrupt my opponent pretty bad. Because that makes these face-down cards do nothing. Alrighty. And we'll set our card here. And let's go for Ye Olden Battle Phase. Alright, Toy Soldier, time to meet your maker. Time to meet your maker, sir. Yeah, that was all your battle protection. All right, so now we'll have Lib do her thing. And we're in a pretty good spot. You know, Lib is going to be protecting our Avram doubly from being targeted. And even if he would be able to destroy this, I can just get rid of Lib instead. Again, I have Guard Dragon to protect from targeting. Avram just can't be, like, touched for the most part. I didn't use, what's her name, Masquerena, though. Since I didn't, he doesn't have, like, all of his protection, but it shouldn't matter too much. It really shouldn't. So we're just going to sit on good old Avram for a couple turns. He is our main ultimate boss, so that's what I want to see. Let's see, Small World again, that's fine. I could negate this, but I kind of want to have my opponent bash his stuff. That's right, get rid of your drolly Locky Birdie. For whom? Regulus, add a spell trap that mentions Ancient Fairy Dragon. Cool. Very cool. I say thee no. I don't know what your spell traps do, and I don't want to find out. And my opponent surrenders. Well, that's a little unfortunate, but I think that's good for today. We've shown off, like, most of what this deck wants to do. We've shown off the combos and the wombos, so let's go for the end screen, talk more about today's deck, and what's coming up for the next few days. Alrighty, everybody, so the World Chalice, the Legacy of the World's End. We went 2-1, which is about where I was expecting. I didn't think the deck was unbeatable, but I did expect that it would be able to go off the combos and do the wombos. So we were able to do that, and I'm very happy to see that it did work out. So, you know, it's the thing with the World Chalices. They might be old, but they still have a lot of power, especially with the Chalice just being able to turbo out more monsters. And I did consider, like, even more of the normies in this deck. That might be a build in the future, but I find that this works just fine. We have a lot of normies in this deck, and we're able to capitalize on all the things that work with them. So we got to show off the combos, we got to show the wombos, good old Exodius. I like the Primites in here, especially with, like, Roar. It's better than Unexpected Die in a lot of situations, so that works out very well. We had our little resounding reaction that was able to, it was there, it was ready, it was prepared. So there's a lot of different things this deck can do. It's not just about link summoning, it's about screwing with the opponent with normie monsters. So we got to show off a lot what this deck can do. We showed up, like, almost everything in the extra deck except for, like, Pisty. So I'm happy with it. Hope everybody at home was as well. If you did enjoy it, smack the like button to let me know that you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we still have 92 days left and I'm still somehow awake. Wait till day 30, I'll be half dead on my feet. But until then, we're going to keep on rolling and we're going to keep on schooling people. So, hope y'all enjoyed. Again, the World Chalices, very nice deck, and I like playing them after such a long time. So, next couple of days, it's going to be getting very silly, but also very potent. You know, we've got ourselves some, just sneak preview on this one. We're playing some FAs with some Exceed monsters, and we're playing, not this, but where's deck number 10? We're playing a deck of all level 8s. So it's going to be some interesting decks coming down the line, because that's what I like to see in the 100 days. Lots of crazy, innovative decks. Thanks to the people at home for suggesting those. So here's the deck list for the day's deck. That is the wrong deck. There's the right deck. Let's see. Here's the deck profile for everybody who wants to play some World Chalices and have a good old time with some classic monsters. So for our main deck, we play one each of the Beckoned, Chosen, and Crowned of the World Chalice. We have 3 copies of Mystical Shine Ball, as he's a very powerful monster we can abuse the heck out of. And 1 Guard Dragon Justicia. It's nice to have a normal tuner monster to go along with, you know, summoning out Lib as well. But also it's a dragon, so we can use our spell to summon him back if we need to. 2 copies of Exodius, the ultimate Forbidden Lord. His whole purpose is to effectively be like a pot spell. We're just recovering all of our cards to this dude. But he also gives us a body on the board. But ultimately, his main prize possession in this deck is to get all the shiny balls back into the deck so I can use them again. Very useful. 2 copies of the Primite Imperial Dragon. Neat little dude. I can tribute summon on my opponent's turn using any of my normal monsters. It negates my opponent's monster's effects, and if I happen to have different attributes in the grave, matching my opponent's monster's attributes, I can banish those monsters. So it's pretty potent. 1 copy of World Legacy's Crown. Just as a little side deck tech sort of thing. I can summon it if I have a link monster on the board to a zone it points to, and then it can stop things from being summoned from the extra deck, or like activating their effects, mind you. So it's pretty good. 3 copies of the World Chalice. Never play less than 3 of the Chalice in this deck. It's pretty much the best card in the deck. Normal summon the darn thing, link it off, summon 2 World Legacies from the deck. It's also another reason I considered playing more than one of this. So, you know, depending on how hard you want to go, you can go up to 2 of these. I wouldn't play 3 of all the World Chalices, but, you know, 2 might actually be just a little harder. Let's see what else we got. We got the Agent of Creation Venus at 3. Very powerful thing because I can use it to get out the shiny balls non-once per turn. 3 copies of Dragonlink because this guy plus Justicia equals our full combo. We have 2 copies of Lee, the World Chalice Fairy. You might think 3, but I prefer to normal summon these 2. I more often special summon Lee, so you can actually probably get away with just 1 of the darn thing. 2 copies of Ringleworm, the Dragon Guarding of the 100 Apples, who's clearly only guarding the 1 apple, but don't tell him that. He's a nice monster for all my normies. I can special summon him from the hand. He's a tuner, and I can banish him from the graveyard when I synchro summon to get myself a free token. So, you know, a free token's never a bad thing. 1 copy of the World Legacies Guard Dragon because he's just like protection for all my cards, and he can bring back my normies from the graveyard. 2 Transmodify because I can target things like Lee and turn them into Venus, or target Venus and turn, well, I can't target Venus, but I can turn my Chalice into Crown, you know, trigger his effect off. So there's a lot of different things this thing can go into. Mostly it's, you know, the Agent Venus, but there's other things too. Triple Sign-Up Mine just to make Dragonlink even more consistent, just how we have basically 9 starters in the deck. 1 Monster Born, just for generic summoning of things. World Legacy's Heart to recover monsters from our graveyard and provide battle protection. 1 Succession for another revival. 1 Call by the Grave, which I did have, but I never saw the darn thing, so I forgot it was even here. 3 copies of Primordial Roar, which is very nice just to bring out a normal monster and have a little graveyard surprise for my opponent. 1 Primite Lordly Load, which is a very funny name for a card. But it lets me search out things like Roar, lets me search out my Counter Trap, lets me search out my Dragon. You don't really use the other effect of this thing, which you could do, but you don't want to do that very often because it stops you from using special summon monsters effects, which we use a lot of. So yeah, unless it's like a really late game sort of situation, you don't use the second effect. You also have World Legacy's Guard Dragon, which lets you just revive a dragon from the graveyard. You can also move a monster on the field, you know, from one zone to the next, which is good for like Pisty, and that's about it. But more often than not, we're summoning Pisty in the right zone anyway. So it's a situational card. That's why it's a 1-of. 3 copies of Imperm just to interrupt my opponent. 2 copies of Resounding Reaction when I have a normie on the board to negate summons. And 1 copy World Legacy Sar to stop spell trap monster effects while I have a Cold Link monster on the board. As for the extra deck, we have things like Imduk. We want 2 Imduk. Would you like to summon this guy out? He gives us an additional normal summon, especially for Chalice. 1 Link Spider in case our hands are kind of dead and we just have too many normals in the hand. 1 Grav Controller, because I can just use that in combination with Lib to start my combo. I've got Guard Dragon's Pisty, who we can use on occasion. He's not like the most amazing dude in the world, but he can build up to extra zones, extra monsters. He's a dark we can put in the graveyard to be used in conjunction with Accesco Talker. A lot of different things this guy can do. He's just very situational. 1 Masquerader for making our links indestructible. 1 Little Knight to interrupt my opponent. 1 Lib, the World Chalice Priestess for our big combo here. We have 1 copy of Lib, the World Blade Master for searching out stuff and spinning cards back into the deck when he gets sent off to the grave. We have Avram, the World Chalice's Blade Master, who can make himself a little bit stronger as long as there's a bunch of World Chalices in the graveyard, or every World Legacy monster, I should say. And, you know, my game crashed there for a second. There we go. But yeah, Avram is here. He's also part of the combo for just bringing back Lib. We have Accesco Talker is like a big beat stick of a monster to pop things and interrupt my opponent's day. And we also have, of course, our boy Crusadia Avramax, who, combined with Masquerader, is one of the hardest monsters on a deck to get rid of. He can just beat over anything special summon, spin cards back into the deck. He can become indestructible with Masquerader. He's untargetable, protects everyone else from attacks. Amazing card. We have Lib, the World Chalice's Justicia at 1, which is the main card in the deck. You want to start with this card all the time because you link this thing off. You summon it out, you get a World Legacy card, you link it off, you summon one from the deck. It's really good. And lastly, just as like a fancy tech, we have our Soul Sovereign Shenging, because sometimes there come options to make level 10 synchros in this deck, and seeing as Baron the Floor is banned, there's a lot of level 10s are like very non-generic. Shenging's good. He's pretty dang good, because not only is he big, not only does he plus off if you have more banished monsters in the grave, we have the option to banish our own things like Chalice, which will then allow me to banish more things with Shenging. So it's a pretty good effect. Now, as for the side deck, as I said before, if you want to run 2 of each of the World Chalice monsters, go right ahead. Or if you want to just run another Justicia, I would probably just say more of these guys. There's also things like Parallel Exceed if you just want more bodies on the board. Put some rank 4s in the deck, something of that nature. It is an option. It's not the most idyllic option, but it's something you could do if you just want to like put up a Guska on the board and really screw with your opponent, or like a Time Thief or Doer to steal their stuff, or what have you may. There's also like other Primate cards, but these are used up a normal summon, so we don't really use them that often. There's World Chalice's Guard Dragon Al-Murdu, which we can summon by tributing monsters on the board, but you need like 3 links. I kind of just ran out of room for Al-Murdu. Not to say he's a bad guy, but he just kind of ran out of room. And then there's other options for synchros as well. It depends on like what you have on the board, when you have on the board. Seeing as we're mostly about links, the levels of our monsters don't really matter, so you can do synchros in this deck, because we do run some tuners, but it's really up to you and what numbers you see happen more often. There's also like the new Orcus Mech Knights, which don't really do much for our deck at the moment, but they have their uses. Trigate Wizard is a really powerful monster if you have the right links on the board. It's not easy to have this guy do his whole shtick, because you have to have like 3 monsters pointing directly at him. It's not impossible, it's just really hard to do. And lastly, there's the Puri Ray map, which can search out your Chalice, but I find that you barely need to do that. Honestly, with the combo we have, it's easy to just get Chalice like in the middle of what we're doing. You know, if you find that you're not seeing Chalice often enough for whatever reason, go ahead and run a couple copies. However, it will stop you from what was it? You can't activate this guy's effect until he's normal summoned. So it's not really an issue, but again, I summon him out just fine. I don't need to search him off. But that's today's deck, everybody. Hope you boys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with more Yu-Gi-Oh action. It's time for some FAs, baby. Gonna be a good one. I'm hoping for the best. Yes, thank you all for watching. Until tomorrow, y'all stay safe and happy, and y'all have a good one. I'll see you then.